Welcome to Popcorn Chat. I'm Kurt Jarvis. The three movies I will be reviewing for you this week are The Vow, Safe House, and This Means War. Let's start with The Vow, starring Channing Tatum and Rachel McAdams. This movie had a lot of problems, and it doesn't really surprise me. They were trying to really force a romantic love story in this, and meanwhile they have really no development of any other story around it. So anytime that the two main characters are not on stage, or on the screen, so to speak, the film really goes nowhere. When they're by themselves, it goes nowhere. The second problem with this film, and this is a major one, is Channing Tatum is really miscast in this movie. They are trying to pawn him off as a coffee-drinking, guitar-strumming, hipster who likes grunge, okay? Meanwhile, he's this polished, hunky, muscular guy, and to make matters worse, they cast a bunch of coffee-drinking, music-playing hipsters around him that look like the part. And since they did that, he looks completely and totally out of place. His character is not believable at all. And it's actually not the acting, it's just how it looks. You know, everybody around him has, on the glasses, they have, a beard, they have on the flannel. They look like, grunge hipsters, okay? He has on a muscular t-shirt, which shows his bulging biceps. He has on skinny jeans with a white belt. It doesn't work. It really doesn't work at all. And I can't believe somebody didn't catch that and go, as good of an acting job as Channing Tatum did, and he did a great acting job. I'm not trying to dog him as an actor, because I think he really put himself into this as best as he could, but he's way out of place. Rachel McAdams' character is completely underdeveloped. They didn't know what they wanted to do with her. They went through moments of sensationalizing her character, to dumbing down her character, to putting her in stupid situations, to putting her into smart situations. And meanwhile, it just doesn't flow at all. I blame the director fully for The Vow. I didn't like it. If both those two people were not on the screen, it just didn't work. And there was many times, considering they split up, that happened. So I wouldn't waste my time with The Vow. It also gets lost on the big screen. I think maybe if it goes to DVD on a smaller screen, maybe it'll be more intimate that way. But nah, I didn't like it. Moving on to Safe House, starring Denzel Washington and Ryan Reynolds. Safe House was about, this is the best way I can explain it. The first hour was absolute mindless boredom, followed by 20 minutes of brilliant filmmaking. And that's the best way to describe it. The first hour, and even in the first 10-20 minutes, all they're concerned with is action. And they've wrecked, I would say, somewhere close to 20 to 25 cars in this movie total, and more than half of them in the first hour alone, okay? And I'm sitting there going, okay, it's a car chase scene. We've seen car chase scenes before 100 times in 100 different movies. Now let me explain to you how this is supposed to work. Anytime you have a car chase scene, if you want to create tension, the best way to do it is to let the audience care about who's in the car. Okay, I'll give you an example. The Jason Bourne movies. Those are really good action movies. And anytime Jason Bourne is being chased, whether it's in a car, on foot, or whatever, the scene is tense. There's a tension there. Why? You care about Jason Bourne. You care about him because he's a fun character. He's a good character. He's a solid character. So now you're like, oh, he's got to get away. In Safe House, they're doing all these scenes, and you don't even know what character is what yet. You don't know who the hero is. You don't know who the villain is. You don't know who to like. You don't know who to hate. You don't even know where they're freaking from. And yet they're just starting to blow stuff up. Ah! I hate that. It's mindless. It's pointless. And they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars and doing this in Hollywood. And they could use that money to feed hungry children. I'm saying it's just more poignant to to society. Instead, people go and see this stuff, and they say, wow, there's a car chase scene. And these are the same people that shop at Walmart. So, I don't know. Now, having said that, I thought this film was going to be a total bust until the last 20 minutes. The last 20 minutes are actually really good. He gets Denzel Washington to the last safe house, and from that point on, the movie actually takes really good form. There's a time where they're both beaten, they're both battered, they've been, attempted to be killed many times, and Denzel and Ryan Reynolds are both sitting in a hallway, and the acting and the dialogue is extremely good. Denzel Washington, who's a great actor, and I had no doubt that he'd do good in this, really ups his game in that scene, which pulls Ryan Reynolds' game up, and the scene is a really nice scene. And if I was a director or even a producer, I would have said, okay, this is the point of the film that's really good. Go back and rewrite the first hour a lot like this, and you would have had yourself a really nice drama that could have competed with some of the major, blockbuster hits coming out in the summer, but they didn't do that. They just wasted the first hour of this film and then gave you 20 minutes of solid filmmaking. But 20 minutes of solid filmmaking does not a good film make. I wouldn't waste my time on Safe House, but I know a lot of you will go see it because you love Denzel and you love action movies. Okay, fine, go see it. I don't care. The last one is This Means War, starring Chris Pine, Reese Witherspoon, and Tom Hardy. This is a romantic comedy spy thriller. It's a great concept, and I have to be honest, there are a lot of problems with this script. There are a lot of problems with this movie, but I overall like the film. I found myself laughing throughout the whole film. When you do that, obviously I feel that this film is funny. And the reason why it works through all its weaknesses is because of the chemistry between the three actors. They have great chemistry. They're very funny together. They play off each other well. And the main problem with it is the script is underdeveloped. The script structure, I don't understand it. And the plot development, it's a little slow, it's a little sloppy. I'll give you an example I'm talking about. Reese Witherspoon goes out on a date with Tom Hardy. And they have a really nice date, and it's kind of a funny, it's, a charming scene, and he comes off really nice, and she comes off really nice. And then she kind of gets forced into a date with Chris Pine, and she's already going, oh, I'm dating two guys at once. Well, you haven't dated him yet. You can still get out of that situation, but they create the quandary before the quandary ever happened. I don't know why anybody thought that was not going to go unnoticed, but it did. And there's a lot of other problems, and I think that they're all very minor, because for me, the chemistry and the wittiness of the film, the good one-liners, the good setup jokes, and I think McD, the director, didn't waste the sideline characters. He didn't just throw them away. They contributed to the humor, they contributed to the funny, and they got to play off each other well. And as a matter of fact, as I walked out of there, I said, I bet the one thing that the director kept saying to the actors is, if you're starting to wonder about which direction to go, just have fun. Because it looked like they did. It looked like they were just having fun on the film, and it made the whole movie fun for me. So there you go. I'll be back next week with a couple more critiques. Not sure what I'm going to be doing yet. And my DVD selection for next week is a film called Take Shelter, starring Jessica Chastain and Michael Shannon. This movie got lost on a lot of people's radar in the movie theater, and it's a great movie. Again, it's called Take Shelter. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a good drama, but it's also got some funny parts. It's about a couple who has a very wonderful marriage. They're a great family, and the father becomes paranoid with the end of the world, and so he feels that they have to start taking shelter and preparing for the end of the world. And it's not done very hokey. It's done very real. And it's a really good movie. You won't be disappointed, and I highly recommend it. Again, it's called Take Shelter. Until next week, I will be back, and until then, I might see you at the movies.